part of the journey, I think for myself, is really the discovery of how our culture has been erased. And oftentimes, or not even, like most of the times, we don't know where things come from. When you ask somebody, you know, let's just go with food because that's, I think, the lowest denominator that people can relate to. Like, you know, adobo, right? Which is like the you know, probably the national dish of the Philippines. People will always say, well, it's actually adobo is the Mexicans have adobo too, you know. Or if there's a rice terraces of Banawe or whatever kind of civilization or whatever, they would say, you know, well, they will compare it to the Greek civilization. And it was really bothersome for me to not know what is truly indigenous or Filipino and what came from Spain or from China or from India or from all these different places. And so, and it's kind of a complicated desire, because then us also as an artist, I knew that in order for me to create an expression that is mine, as personally mine, not necessarily, I'm not representing the Filipino Americans, that I would have to find another language or another form of expression that will, similar to me as a human being, as a Filipino American, would speak to that Filipino Americanness. So it's not Philippine, it's not white American or other American, but it's Filipino American. And the way my brain kind of, well, go to the Philippines and kind of find out what's going on. And it started, that actually the desire started early. I was my first year at State undergrad. I was able to like find a travel scholarship. Can you believe that? Nobody gives that kind of money anymore. And I was able to go to the Philippines for a few months. So anyway, over many years of going back and forth, I came to understand a lot of things in terms of practices that actually is connected to indigenous practices, and going to the tribal homeland is really my focus, because my logic is that these are people that had not been conquered by, you know, any invaders or foreigners. So therefore, they are closer to that first voice. So having that kind of interaction with folks, you know, living with tribal people over the years, I was able to kind of, that's why we do that. You know, it's not so much that it's a tradition or it was taken from this tradition, because it was already happening. Fiestas, right? The patron saints, right? So we always think, oh, that's a Spanish tradition where the patron saint is, you know, revered and all of that, and they're taken down the barrio. There are parts where they go down the river. And what I came to realize and know is that because there were already patron deities in these different villages. And so by co-opting that tradition, the patron saint is easy to accept. So the ipat is an indigenous spiritual practice that is done in Mindinao, Mindinaoan people, and that particular tradition, all over the tribal lands in Mindanao, there is a tradition of ceremony. Ipat in particular can be 3 days. The whole area where the ipat was happening is with visual arts of offerings in these colorful tiered towers with beautifully designed, rice with eggs, just, chicken, just like towers of that. There's a boat because the belief is the spirit comes through the boat. And that's also designed in this amazing, beautiful way. Everything, there's music, there's dance, there's chanting, there's singing, there's visuals. I mean, all your senses are being initiated and stimulated to help you align your energies with the energies of the universe. And there's no alcohol. In other parts, there are alcohol. And there's just similarities, these rituals have similarities with water people like Cuba and Brazil and the Caribbean, right? So for me to be part of that was like, what a revelation, because we were told we didn't have a spiritual practice. Our spiritual practice is pagan and backwards, and when I experienced Ipat at that time, it was like epiphany of this is what the art's supposed to do. Everywhere that I look is artistic to me, because when you do ceremony and you are worshiping or offering, you offer your best. And it was just a moment where I said, this is the original purpose of the arts, is to take whoever is there into this other, the state of grace.